Hello, my name is Binil Pillai, and I am responsible for partner strategy and business development for security, compliance, and identity product incubation at Microsoft HQ. I lead Secure SAP on Azure partner initiative worldwide. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video. In this video, I will cover partner opportunity overview around the native Azure Security control for SAP system and the potential scenario that partners can monetize SAP on Azure opportunity from an incremental revenue and long-term growth as system integrator or as a managed service provider to your SAP customers. SAP system handle extremely sensitive information. Just to give a context, 77% of world transactions are touched by an SAP system. That's why protecting SAP system from a bad actor is a top priority, not only for enterprises, but also for governments. Once the attacker is inside, there's a few controls to detect attacker's footprint. At the same time, SAP system needs more correlated information across the infrastructure and applicative layers to get a clear picture of the ground reality. Due to the breadth in the SAP system, SOC teams traditionally have very little visibility, and this leads SAP system being managed with a limited security coverage. In addition to that, a couple of recent market highlights substantiate our thinking that SAP system needs a better security coverage. One example, the US Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, issued a binding operational directive on November 2021 to compel government departments and agencies to remediate specific vulnerabilities with known exploits. According to CISA, the vulnerabilities pose a significant risk to information systems that include SAP system, and that need to be remediated by May 2022. The other context I want to share with you, in Q2 2021, SAP issued a joint report with a security research firm to highlight active cyber threats targeting SAP applications. According to the report, there is conclusive evidence that attackers are actively targeting and exploiting unsecured SAP applications. The report that some of the SAP vulnerabilities being managed, weaponized in less than 72 hours from the release of SAP patches. So it shows unprotected cloud applications or installations of SAP are being discovered and compromised in less than 3 hours. This is just to give a context very much specific to the current reality where we live. Moving to the next slide, we just wanted to really touch base that the current challenges with the cloud security advantage perspective. As you consider and evaluate public cloud services, it's critical to understand the shared responsibility model and which security tasks are handled by cloud provider and which tasks are handled by customer. This is a common concept or model that every customer or partner consider for migration. The workload responsibility vary depending on whether the workload is hosted on the software as a service, platform as a service, or infrastructure as a service, or in an on-premises data center. The logic is applicable for SAP system and becomes a priority for developing design principle for migrating SAP to cloud. Moving to the next slide about Azure Security. At Microsoft, we spend over $1 billion every year on research and development to secure customer organization and enable them to digitally transform without compromising productivity. We do this, our partners, technology, and partnerships. What makes Microsoft so different to other cloud providers and even security providers is that we have intelligence informed by trillions of sources, so we can help customers make smarter decisions and remediate security challenges faster. With that, I want to really introduce you to the native Azure Security Control. We provide a holistic and truly approach for technology. And these are the cloud-based security controls on Azure: identity and access management, apps and data security, network security, threat protection, and security management. So let's touch base a little bit detail what exactly Azure have built into it. Moving on to next slide. I want to give an overview of the key native Azure security controls by highlighting some of the role in the broader cloud security architecture context. The good news is that you can click on the slide, please. The majority of these Azure security controls are applicable to other cloud platforms such as GCP and AWS. The native security controls provide visibility and control on internal resources, public applications, and devices. Azure Active Directory is one of the core components to centralize visibility and provide control around identity. For visibility space, there are two kinds. First one, for example, what is the security posture for dev apps? The other one is threat monitoring. Are we under attack? What has been compromised, etc. We have Azure Secure Score for governance aspect that we have, and we have Microsoft Sentinel for threat monitoring. You need a SIEM to pull all raw data for meaningful analysis that you can act on quickly. It is important to highlight Microsoft investment on Azure Defender and what it does to popular Azure services like storage, SQL databases, and Kubernetes. If you look at the top left, you don't want to have your SOC operating independently out of your access control. That's where Azure Active Directory governance control comes into the picture, which is operating based on the zero trust principle. On top right, there are two primary security controls. The first one is similar to most organizations are using today on their on-premises. We call data plane security, which focuses on code in your DevOps environment to determine if the code you use for the underlying infrastructure has any flaws there. There is a lot of different components and capabilities there, including a couple of edge services around Azure DDoS, about application firewall that attaches to Azure front door in the application gateway, as well as security in the API management gateway. On the top right, you can see a couple of frameworks. First one is Cloud Adoption Framework. If the organization focuses for a full migration to cloud or hybrid journey, you need to build a big picture across the cloud, enterprises, and all workloads. The second one is a well-architected framework. It's a workload focus. How do I manage, secure, and optimize specific workload in the cloud? See, the idea is to provide an overview of native control capabilities from a high-level standpoint so that you can leverage the appropriate one for your SAP customer. In the next few slides, I want to really introduce you to the partner opportunity. As you know, we shared the high-level overview of native security control relevant for SAP, and the next couple of sessions will deep dive into the product capabilities. However, we want to share how do we envision the partner opportunities that helps you to make more services revenue. We envision two types of opportunities for our partners. The first one is migration opportunity, means migrating SAP to Azure as their cloud platform or take them to a hybrid model. The other one is modernization opportunity, means your SAP customer is already using Microsoft Sentinel as their SIEM, even though customer's cloud platform is AWS or GCP. In this case, you take the customer to next level by showing the potential value that Azure offers for solving long-standing information security challenges, for example, related to DDoS protection or threat monitoring. We have three customer scenarios to qualify both opportunities. The first one scenario is SAP on Azure migration, which could be Azure compete scenario versus GCP or AWS. In this scenario, we want native security controls to be incorporated into your standard migration blueprint or architecture so that you can lead with security conversation to differentiate Azure value proposition. By doing this, security becomes a priority for migration. The second scenario is where your SAP customer is an on-prem customer or still using other cloud platform, and your customer leverage Microsoft Sentinel as a SIEM solution to monitor their threat effectively from the SOC standpoint. In this case, you can introduce Sentinel SAP Docker to the customer, secure customer mindshare on the value of Microsoft Sentinel for SAP for an effective threat monitoring, and eventually migrate them to Azure. This scenario offers both migration as well as modernization opportunity for partners. The third scenario is a modernization play. Your SAP customer is already on Azure platform and perhaps not aware of Microsoft Sentinel capability for SAP threat monitoring, then it would be an opportunity for you to upsell the customer to leverage Sentinel connector for SAP and develop a meaningful threat monitoring solution for data analysis. This is a low-hanging fruit for partners to help customer maximize the value of their investment on Microsoft product by turning on Sentinel and get the data from SAP logs. So we have three types of partner services that we believe that partner can really make incremental revenue. And one is advisory, the other one is implementation, and third one is managed services. Advisory services is relevant for migration opportunities, especially to help customers to determine and decide the required native security control based on your migration blueprint. Implementation service is required for both migration and modernization opportunities, for example, installation and deployment of various security controls. Many of the native control becomes the scope for managed services, for sure. For example, you can integrate threat monitoring with your MDR, managed detection and response services, and provide that as a package to your SAP customer. Moving on to the next slide, we have an architecture framework which we created, a security architecture framework for partners to determine the scope of the services offering or capabilities that you want to develop that can leverage with a native security control. This will help you to identify an ideal grouping of components for each native control, for example, for infrastructure as a service type or SaaS or on-prem. And I understand some of you manage your SAP on other cloud platform. Some of the native security control from Azure can be best fit to serve your customer even they are on the other cloud platform. So our kind suggestion is use the framework to map out Microsoft native security control and third-party options to ensure end-to-end security for SAP system. That's the way we need to lean in. How to really provide an end-to-end security with all relevant component and an investment that we made in the Azure from a cloud security standpoint. So this is about the professional services opportunity for partners, right? I think I just wanted to really keep in mind SAP is well known for his customizability. So this is a great advantage and opportunity for partners to really blend security into that nature so that you have a unique proposition to the end customer to support SAP's customizability and how do we really protect the system from a long-term standpoint. So being custom, high touch, and high expertise. That's what I was meaning from that customizability standpoint. The second one is a differentiator, right? Using Azure Security as a key value proposition to drive a migration opportunity for your customer, and then use that as a critical, priority for customer to understand. So that's another angle you need to look at from a what's the advantage for partner when you blend Azure Security for SAP migration. The third one is the Salesforce multiplier. That's an interesting element because you see when you deal with a customer and you are dealing with their SAP organization or maybe the business unit that needs SAP all up, plus the security organization, which is including the CISO and the entire organization. So you have an opportunity to really showcase the big picture of the customer business running on SAP system, plus how do we protect the system through security and cloud security particularly. So that's we call a multiplier. You're connecting with business unit, you're connecting with the security organization of your customer to really have a better impact for their business as well as protecting their environment. And third one, the last one is development of use cases. And like us, I think many of the such use cases discussed in the previous sessions in the demo by Sarah, Takeyuki, and everyone here. So detection, playbook, workbook, etc. So you can have it more develop in your SOC operation, for example, and use it that to demonstrate for your new customer to walk in. So that's a great opportunity as a system integrator for SAP and security. So the next one I wanted to really talk about the partner go-to-market roadmap. So this is an important one. So we want partners to take advantage of this opportunity and expand your Microsoft security practice around SAP. And here is the high-level roadmap to begin or accelerate your journey with us. The first, build offering. Now, you understand potential SAP on Azure opportunities and customer scenarios. You can decide the scope of the services offering or capabilities that you want to develop or incorporate with your existing managed services offering. You can then publish them on the Azure Marketplace. Please work with your Microsoft Partner Development Manager and Partner Technology Strategist to develop, offering, and publish them onto the Azure Marketplace. The second step is to generate demand. You may consider targeting customers based on the migration and modernization opportunities based on the scenario we discussed earlier. You can then plan demand generation events to create awareness about native Azure Security controls to protect SAP system. You can also, conduct a dedicated Microsoft Sentinel campaign for SAP customer for creating an upsell opportunity pipeline for you. The third step is to accelerate co-sell with Microsoft. This is a very important one. SAP on Azure is a key priority for our Microsoft application and infrastructure solution sellers. They are keen to work with partners to build joint pipeline for SAP on Azure. They want to partner to lead the security conversation for pre-sales conversation, for example. I really encourage you to connect with your partner development manager in your area and request him or her to connect you with the apps and infra sellers to accelerate co-sell motion. Please take note, building offering on the Azure Marketplace is a key milestone for Microsoft sellers to engage with you. So I appreciate if you can prioritize building offering and publishing them to the marketplace as soon as possible. So let's move on to some of the call to action. The first thing I want to really highlight is the incorporate Azure Security Control in your standard SAP on Azure migration blueprint, because this is very important. I'm sure you may have a blueprint ready which you use to migrate customer to Azure. So make sure security is incorporated into it so that you can use security as a leading conversation to enable cloud transformation. Second, work with Microsoft Partner Development Managers and Partner Technology Strategists to build services as well as publish them to Azure Marketplace. And the third one is build joint SAP on Azure pipeline with Microsoft application and infrastructure sellers. That's all I have for partner opportunity. Microsoft embraces cloud security to be positioned as an accelerator and enabler for cloud transformation. We want our partners to be successful in securing SAP on cloud migrations by leveraging native Azure Security controls, build services offering, and accelerate go-to-market and sell with activities with Microsoft sellers. We have a level 300 training video for partners from Evren Boyrak, Senior Cloud Solution Architect for SAP on Azure. This training video for partners talks about each native Azure Security control for SAP system in particular and how partner can make incremental revenue. I strongly recommend partners to watch this video, and link is given below to learn about it. It's a fantastic resource for partners. This event is brought to you by Microsoft Security Partner Development Team, and please feel free to reach out to the email address given below if you have any questions. Have a wonderful day.